Hi, this is Michael Waits recording live from Money 2020 Asia 2025 in Bangkok. Thank you for joining us for this special edition of Insurance for the New Possible, where we discuss the future of finance, technology, and insurance. We are joined today by Chi Lê, the CEO of Zalopay. Thank you so much for joining us at Money 2020 Asia 2025 and for coming on the show. How are you doing today, by the way?
Great. Thanks for having me.
It's my complete pleasure. We've been waiting for this for a while.
Yes.
I'm really glad this is finally happening. Okay, what are the top three things that people should know about the fintech and banking space in Vietnam that they wouldn't know otherwise?
Yeah. So number one is that in Vietnam we have really strong tech in terms of both the banks and fintechs all have really strong tech resources, and the population is very mobile forward. With very high penetration of smartphone.
Right.
And so in terms of both the readiness to adopt as well as the availability of really good digital first features are there to drive forward the growth of banking and fintech.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is that a very high percent of the population have bank accounts, but they're really underutilizing the bank services.
Okay.
Most of them are not really using most of the services that the banks are willing to offer, and that's the room for growth that fintech can come in and assist banks to reach out to this population. And three is a cultural nuance that people who want to do business in Vietnam should know, is that from a cultural perspective, Vietnamese love social trust, community, so the sense of social proof for the product is really important to create a sense of ease and trust that they will have in willing to use your product. So when they want to use something, they usually will ask for opinions online or from their trusted acquaintances before they want to use it.
That's really, really interesting. Can I dig a little bit deeper on a couple of these things? Why do you think that the technological prowess, so the strength of the ecosystem in Vietnam, developed so quickly and so strongly? Right? Why is the education in tech so great in Vietnam?
Yeah, I think because the government has a strong focus in STEM education.
Yeah.
And we have a huge population going into IT in college. And so the supply, the availability of tech talents is there. And it's very easy for us to hire, to have these talents to execute. We have companies overseas talking to us and they say, yeah, for this feature will take us like quarter to get it. We're like, oh, no. It's only take us like a month at most.
It'll take a week to build, right?
Yeah. And if we find that we need to grow the product, the business, we can just go and hire talents very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, some of the biggest, I don't even want to call them outsourcing companies, but some of the biggest regional tech development companies that I know are based in Ho Chi Minh.
Yeah.
Yeah, some really big ones. I mean, I'm talking about like 1,000 people. And that surprised me when I found that out. And I think it would surprise most people as well. Can you talk to me about this too? You said most people are banked. They have a bank account, but they're not utilizing the services of the big banks. Is there a reason why?
Yeah, I think that tech lending, for example, traditionally it is very costly for banks to lend because the cost of underwriting, the processing of the loans makes it very cost prohibitive to give users a small size loan and for the banks to still be profitable. But for users, especially users in Vietnam, they're very worried about getting too much into debt. And this is what we've seen borne out in our data as well when we start doing lending, is that sometimes you offer user a high ticket loan, they would turn it down because they just want to borrow only as much as they think they can repay and just appropriate for their need. So the ability to bring microloans to the market is what's going to help drive lending growth.
So that's funny because this is exactly opposite of what happens in the United States. If I can afford a $100,000 loan, somebody wants to give me $1 million loan and I'm happy to take it. I mean, not me personally. And that which caused like the whole financial crisis in 2007 and 2008. Yeah, the housing crisis. So how do you see Zalopay itself actually evolving into a full stack financial services provider, and our embedded finance credit products or insurance part of the roadmap?
For sure. I think Zalopay has some unique advantages that will help us evolve into a credible financial service player.
Tell me.
So number one is just the context we are present in so many payment use cases
Right.
that are part of the user's daily life, right? So we're there at the point of contact with user when they pay for ride hailing, e-commerce. So those are all opportunities that you can put in lending or insurance. Number two is the data, the richness of the data from us understanding how the users use the app, their payment history, and all of that will help us form a good profile of the users to offer a good personalized product for them.
Got it.
And number three is the trust that the user has in the brand. That will also facilitate ease of adoption, because if Zalopay endorses this product and brings it to them, they'll be more likely to want to adopt it.
So how do you build a brand like that people trust so much? Because you're right, social trust is really important, but at the end of the day, the brand has to deliver. And if people trust the brand, it must be delivering, yeah?
Yeah. So it comes through in a couple of different ways. So
Go
one
ahead.
is human-centric design,
Right.
where we try to anticipate where users have confusion or anxiety when using our products and try to figure out the flow to address those anticipated needs. We'll also introduce help from our customer service, our chatbot in the right places and try to be helpful. And third is we also will show user statistics of other users using it.
Oh.
Like, okay, 10,000 users have used this product, that will create some form of trust that, okay, this is something that is useful. And lastly is when we work with partners to bring financial service products to the platform,
Right.
we want to be very transparent with the fee, with what the user will get in return, some of which will go against business interests. But I think it'll help us grow sustainably in the long term.
But do you think, so this idea of it goes against business interests, do you think it may go against short-term business interests, but
Short-term, yeah.
long-term, it's so effective? Because if I transact with you today on a small basis or a large basis and it doesn't work, you're going to lose me forever. But even if I transact with you on a short-term basis and it works a little bit and I feel really good about it, and you make a little bit of money, I'm probably going to transact with you forever, yeah? So that's part of the trust thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why
yeah.
the message I tell my team, you think about short term versus the long term.
Long-term?
Yeah.
So what are some of the key branding and product changes that have occurred at Zalopay in the last year or so? And what's the significance of these changes? What drove them? Like, you changed the way you capitalize stuff. Like, what's going on there on the branding side?
Yeah. So all the big change happened. We unveiled it in July of last year.
Okay.
So before that, I would say Zalopay is a very utilitarian app. That's how people think of us.
Right.
You just pay your bill. Okay, you go there, you pay. Right. What we wanted to elevate the app to be a lifestyle app. So you can do a lot more on the app than just payments. So number one is we introduce a whole suite of financial service products.
Right.
You can do your investment, lending, insurance, all in the same place. Number two is you can earn loyalty points for everything that you do on the app, including bank transfer, which is completely new in Vietnam.
So I can get points, loyalty points, just for transferring,
Yep.
just for doing a bank transfer.
Yeah.
I love this. I do bank transfers all the time, but I'd like to get some points for it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So every action gets rewarded.
Right.
Even just signing into the app, you can do daily check-ins, or you can answer questions about our products to help educate, and then we give you reward for learning about our product. And all of that points can be used to exchange into rewards from our merchants. So that's a win-win proposition for us,
Right.
for our merchant base, and for the users. And then lastly, we want the app to be very accessible to users. So before the change, we were a very traditional wallet in which we have to link your bank account, you have to top up into your wallet before you can use. But now we say, why do we have to do that?
Right.
Right? We want to change the app so users don't have to really think and change the way they pay. So now we enable everything from your wallet. If you want to use that, your link bank account, you can deduct directly into the link bank account, your money market fund, pay later, Apple Pay, Google Pay, bank transfer. So really, as long as you have a bank account or card, then you really can pay with us.
So what drove these changes, right? Because you're growing, you're using this utilitarian app, it's growing nicely, everything's going okay. What spurred this idea of, we need to make this more of a lifestyle thing than just a banking and financial products thing? Why?
One is brand love.
Brand love?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I think the love and trust is something that we keep coming back to.
Right.
How do you feel users, when they think of us, I want them to think of us as a very integral part of their life.
Right.
right? Like you open the app to check your calendar, to look at your points, to your stock portfolio. So we want to be there. Um, and two is growing and touching a new user group.
Right.
So before that, we were looking at your early adopters, people who are very comfortable with paying online already. But to get to the next group of users who might not be familiar,
Yeah.
we want to be friendlier to them in terms of the UI UX, in terms of the rewards, and then in terms of the ease of use.
So a couple of questions there. How challenging was it internally to change the way people thought about what they were building? Right, because initially they're like, we're building this utilitarian thing that just has financial products into it. And then they go to a group stand-up or something like that, and someone says, we're a lifestyle app. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a mindset change internally, right?
It is. Initially, everyone thought it was too many changes all at once.
Right. They're like, no, too fast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I also wanted to do the branding change as well.
At the same time.
At the same time, I
Okay.
said, because if you do product change without the branding change, sometimes users don't really perceive it.
I was going to say, go ahead.
Yeah. Like we want to communicate the story that we're new, but if you're only new in terms of product feature, but
Right.
your entire app kind of looks the same, the colors the same,
And it doesn't feel new
it
or
doesn't
different.
feel new.
Right.
Like you can keep shouting out that we're new,
Right.
but there's no gut feeling from
Yeah.
the user side that you're actually new,
Okay.
and it's very hard to catch user attention. So I do branding change, product change. Everyone was like freaking out. So it took a while to convince, but I think the moment that everything kind of fell coming together
Right.
was when we had the first draft of the new branding, the new logo.
Right.
So everyone felt very excited about new. Like before, they was afraid.
Internally, they were like, yeah, now we actually are new. So they embraced the new.
Yeah, and they liked the look of the new. It was like, oh, this is fresh, this is new. I don't know why we haven't changed our logo forever,
Right.
but now that it's here, I'm so proud of being a part of this new thing.
So did you find, there are a couple of questions to follow up on there. Did you find that the branding change had as much of an impact internally on people's excitement to build new things as it did externally for this new cohort of clients to join the kind of Zalopay experience?
Yeah, so externally it was a huge success. The launch was it's gone viral in ways that we didn't imagine.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, drove app downloads, people talking about us. It's
Really?
like the biggest buzz we've ever had in the history of Zalopay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but internally I feel people were very proud because we've done something we never thought we would do. And the other cool thing is that all of these changes were done by the internal team.
I was going to ask.
I didn't use any external agency for the branding change. So all the changes come from internal resources. It's just another point of pride for people.
Well, because the buy-in, I think, is much stronger when it comes from inside as opposed to come from outside and then just sold down to everybody because they feel forced to do something as opposed to, hey, we created this.
Yeah.
And look at the impact it's having. I can tell my friends and family, like, I did this new logo or I did this new branding thing, and it can make me feel really proud, right?
And it becomes like your baby.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one thing that happened after the launch was the marketing team, they started giving me feedback on product.
Okay.
Because now they feel like I've owned this,
Right. That's what I mean. Go ahead.
co-created this.
Right.
And so they keep giving feedback to me or the customer service, like, hey, people talking like we're not supporting them well on social media.
Right.
We should do something about it.
Right. So did you change your content strategy as well?
What do you mean by content strategy?
Well, if you're on social media, right, you're publishing stuff to social media. So did you, along with the branding change, did you change the way you spoke to customers online?
Yes. So we wanted to be friendlier
Right.
in terms of how we communicated. For example, before customer service, if someone talk about us online about a problem, they try to give very template and safe response. But now they ask is how you make it more human and try to be really helpful. Not everything will be like, please submit a CS ticket.
Right.
Like if you find that the question is simple enough that you can feel empowered to answer, you can answer right away.
So you just segued into my next question, actually.
Yeah.
How do you build systems that are hybrid, right? So that people, both clients and also internal, can get better feedback and then have better performance, right? Because I think at the end of the day, digital or not, whether it's an insurance business, whether it's a banking business, whether it's a car business, people want to talk to humans. How do you balance that hybrid experience so that there's enough technology that people, it's seamless, but if they need to speak to someone, they can?
Yep. So we actually grappling with that right now with our chatbot. So we try to identify things that AI will do better than human. Like looking up transaction status is something that should be entirely automated. And customers also do prefer that way because it's way faster.
Yeah.
You just take a photo of your transaction, submit, and then the AI will tell you immediately what happened to it, rather than waiting for some human to go look up somewhere and maybe make a typo
Right,
and they
right,
give
right.
you the wrong status. So we try to identify areas like that, and then the customers can escalate to human if they find that the response is not satisfactory.
Got it. How important is financial inclusion for you in Vietnam, and what role does Zalopay play?
Yeah. So we're all about financial inclusion. And to us, it means both access and empowerment. So access meaning the user theoretically can have the app on your phone, right? Can access all these features.
Right.
But beyond that, empowerment means how easy it is for them to actually use it and
Right.
how useful it is for them.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
just having access isn't enough, right?
Yeah, so for both merchants and user, we have multiple examples of what we're trying to do. So for small merchants, for example, we're working on obviously the domestic QR. We try to give out sandbox to merchants so that they can accept QR payment
Okay.
easily without fraud.
Right.
But then beyond that, we're working on a project to enable them to get QR payment from tourists coming to Vietnam.
Yeah, that would be so helpful.
Yeah, helpful
So
for
helpful.
tourists.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then for merchants as well, right? To expand your business to
Right.
a pool that you previously didn't have.
Yeah, because up until now, like I pay all of my stuff in Thailand using a QR code, even down to a motorcycle taxi.
Yeah.
I will use a QR, and all of them have it, right? But before all these payment rails were connected, I couldn't go to like Singapore or Vietnam and use a QR code. So if I can do that,
Yeah.
I'm in love. Like that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Zalopay recently entered into a strategic partnership with Chubb, launching travel insurance as the initial offering. I've come to view Chubb as a company that exemplifies innovation through collaboration. Maybe you could share like your perspective on the long-term vision for this partnership.
Yeah. So the vision that I have for insurance in Zalopay
Yeah.
is offering protection at the right price point to the right user at the right touch point. And to do that, we know we have the data as well as the product interface and the user base.
Right.
But we definitely want someone like Chubb who brings in global capabilities with a wide range of products and the willingness to customize your products to the platform need. So I think this is a win-win partnership that will bring that vision to life.
Yeah, this whole idea of customization is really important, right? I was talking earlier with somebody about how building a business partnership is like dating, right? You talk to a bunch of different people and you find the people that match you the best, and then you customize it after that. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. So like for lending, I share with my team that I think we can lend to anyone. It's just a matter of pricing.
Yeah.
Right? If you can lend, like if
Sure,
even
sure.
I myself, if I get a loan at a good price, I'll buy it. I think similar for insurance. Everyone needs protection for something in their life. We need to find out what that something is and at the right price point.
Exactly. Okay, Chi Lê, the CEO of Zalopay, I cannot thank you enough for coming and doing this. That was awesome and definitely worth the wait. Thank you.
All right, thank you.